Welcome, everyone, to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 318 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed Columbus-based artist Dom Deshawn. I discovered Dom probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, on a past episode of the hip-hop show with Stony Creation. That is the show on Bandcamp that they release every couple weeks, highlighting different underground hip-hop artists. And he actually had a full feature and interview on that show. Once I found out he was from Ohio, had to tap in. Really loved his chill, mellow energy in his music. And that led all the way up to his most recent release called the Mahogany Tape, in collaboration with fellow Columbus producer Stale Brick. And so we got to talk to Dom today about that project, what went into it, how him and Stale Brick got connected initially. And I would definitely recommend anybody to check out that project if you just love a nice mellow vibe. Give it a listen. It's only 7 tracks. I think it spans about 20 minutes or so. Great project. But Dom also had a lot of great gems in this episode about, quitting his job in 2021, or his full-time job, I should say, strictly doing part-time jobs while also doing music for the rest of his income. He talked about the struggles and challenges that come with doing that and what he's experienced on a personal level, but also with those challenges in mind, he talked about just being rooted in his purpose and, most importantly, doing what makes him happy, which is something that not a lot of people do. Think about the amount of people in your life that have given up what they're really passionate about to do the more traditional route because it either makes more money or is just a safe option. We talked about jumping out of a plane without your parachute and just kind of figuring things out on the way down. And Dom has been doing that over and over and over again. I think he's going to keep doing that, keep innovating, and with a lot of new music and different things planned for the future, it's going to be very cool to see it unfold. So this was long awaited. Shout out to Dom for making this happen, and I'm excited to connect with him again really soon. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy this one too. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so this is episode 318, joined by probably one of my favorite artists in the state of Ohio, here in Ohio, and definitely in Columbus as well. Dom Deshawn, how you doing, man?
Thank you for first off, thank you for that. I'm doing well, like we was talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like hearing those type of compliments. It never gets not owed like in a good way, but like I never get like fully like used to it, just because of like I still kind of like work like in my mind, like in this like bubble of like I always kind of have to consistently work and stuff like that to hopefully people hear about me and stuff like that. Yeah. So to hear stuff like that is always like it's super humbling.
Yeah, 100%, man. But that's the thing. I think with that mentality, I think that's how you continue to turn heads. You know what I mean? By being able to do that, put the work in, and have new people discover what you're doing. And I guess Absolutely. I kind of want to start there with maybe, let's say, 5 years, the past 5 years, or even since like COVID times, 2020. What has been the biggest step that you've seen in your career? It could be just the reception from the music you've been putting out, or doing shows, or whatever it is. What do you think has been the biggest step you've taken the last 5 or 6 years?
Man, I know exactly what it was. It was August of 2021. I quit like my last like 9 to 5, like full-time job. And at the time it was I don't know, it was kind of like so many things like that was like building up to that like moment. Like it wasn't just like some like, oh, I'm just about to like do this, and like it was at that point it was my 10-year anniversary since like releasing my first like project. I've always like had like a full-time job since I was like the age of really like well technically not in high school, but like once I like graduated high school and stuff like that, I was like the the job that I had, I was then started to work basically almost
Mhm.
like full-time hours and stuff like that. So as long as I did like music, I always like had a job. And even now, I like the last 2 or 3 years, I've been like working like part time, like here and there. But like I work, thankfully, like at like two music venues,
Mm.
so it's kind of perfect because it's like within like still like within like my line of work, and I get to see like a shit ton of bands and
Yeah.
interact with like other artists and stuff like that. But yeah, the pivotal moment was definitely I quit my job like August 2021. It kind of was like one of those things where like I always over those 10 years before that, like was always like progressing and, doing shows and releasing like projects and stuff like that. But then like really throwing myself into the fire, I think was like the spark that like led to so many more shows. I mean, I've been probably like my most like prolific the last like 5 years of just like how much like music got released. Got into like production a couple years ago. Um, just experiment like a lot more. But yeah, that definitely was like the pivotal like
Yeah.
spark, literally almost like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. Yeah, because next month is 5 years, like to the date, basically, of that
yep,
happening. Then, so that's incredible, man. And congrats on that, obviously, because
thank you.
that's a big thing. And I did just see last night. I think you were at a show. I don't know if it was in
Hell yeah.
Columbus, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
So
I work so I between Promo West um and I work like pretty much like box office like with all like the Promo West like
yeah,
venues, but then also like work the door at like Ace of Cups as well too. So if anybody's listening or like anybody that can Columbus, like you might fuck around and like see me at a show or something like
yeah,
that. But it's been great. Like I said before, like you know, technically I never want to like quote unquote work, but like if I'm going to work, it's dope to literally be able to see like live music and also to just to be around like music and like still very much like in my industry like line of work.
yeah.
So it's dope.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I guess like going back to what you were just talking about 2021, taking that leap
Hmm.
of faith, I always like to kind of highlight not only like the good things about it, but also maybe the challenges of it too. So for you, what have been the biggest challenges of, taking that leap of faith and then obviously having to rely on your music to
Mm,
fund a little bit more of your lifestyle, what you're doing, and
yeah,
just be able to kind of make everything work to continue to see progress? What have been the challenges?
man. That's a great question, and like I'm sure I'm gonna give you this response, and you're gonna be like, nah, I can. This honestly is not surprising. Just the way I feel like even from like strangers, I think just the way I carry myself like on like social media and stuff like that, I'm a pretty like honest like individual. I don't like make up like a facades and stuff like that. But
Mm.
like it's just been hard. Like this is not a easy thing. It wasn't like I quit my job and then like yeah, I've been able to like get these amazing like opportunities and like bust my ass and stuff like that. But it's just like I've also been the brokest I've ever been, like in my adulthood.
Mm.
Like the money I was like making, which wasn't even like a lot when I was like working my 9 to 5, but it was like I the amount of I would make like in a month's time at my 9 to 5, like it takes me so much longer to make that like in like my day to day like life now, and that's been hard. It's made me having to like lean on like others like a lot more. Like that first like year or so after I quit my job, I was like still living with my parents. Um, all these kind of like things that like aren't like glamorous at all. But it was just like I had to make those like sacrifices to be able to kind of get to the point where I like wanted to be, and like um, it definitely I feel like it's one of those things that really like shows you like do you like really want to do this shit or
Mm.
not. And like for me it was very like evident, like even as hard as like shit's been, I literally told somebody like like a couple of days ago, like I'm more happier now even when like the last couple months have been even like difficult like financially for me, where I'm like it's stressed about like money and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like I'm more happier now than I was when I was like I knew where my money was like coming from, but like I was spending 9 hours, maybe even more of my day like clocking in or like going to work somewhere that like I literally just like hated. Not the job, um, like the people I was like working with, it was just like the job itself. Like it had nothing to do with like anything I was doing. Like I guess like mine is like, time management skills and shit like that.
Mhm.
It wasn't really anything that I can like transfer over to like my like normal like day to day, and like yeah, man, it was brutal, but um, I definitely try to like give people like the honest of like, yeah, no, this shit's not easy. It's not. I mean, especially in this like climate of just being like an independent like artist. I feel like financially and just like in the world right now, like a lot of people are like struggling, and to be in a industry where essentially I have to make my money from like folks investing in what I want to do, like in terms of like, hey man, we love the music, like we'll buy your music,
Mhm.
or merch or coming to the show and stuff like that. But then like when those very same people are also like struggling like financially, it's definitely like a trickle down effect, and like it's tough. But like I said before, like it's one of those things where like I kind of just like taking the bad with it compared, because like the good is like outweighs like all of it.
Yeah. I think it all kind of goes back to just being rooted in your purpose and like
Mm-hmm.
why you feel like you're here, just here, in general,
Yes.
and just doing what you love and kind of going back to that as well. So I gotta commend you for that because that's something that not everybody can get to the point of doing, even if they feel called to do that. It's like the fear might keep them, that might be the roadblock, right? The fear of like, well, what could
Oh
happen or how could it go wrong? um, just kind of getting over that is the biggest step. So,
man, I literally had the craziest shit. I'll never forget. Like when I like end up putting like my 2 weeks in like to my job. Um, Throughout the years, like I would tell like coworkers like here and there that like I did music, but this was like the first job, and I was working there for about almost like 3 years. Where like from started off, like I pretty much wore it on my sleeve that like, hey, like I just be clocking in, but like the music shit is really what I do. So
yeah.
like all my coworkers like knew I did music. Like a lot of times, like they would come up to like my shows and stuff like that. So when I put in my 2 weeks, it was cool because like none of my coworkers were like, "Oh, are you sure you want to do this?" Or like, "Do you think this is like a good plan?" Like everybody, like I literally had multiple coworkers like literally tell me like, "Man, I'm kind of like almost like jealous and of not of like of you doing this, but just like of that very fact of like, man, I wish I could get over like my fear of whatever it is and like really pursue like what I love and stuff like that."
Mhm.
And was like really like applauding to that. So yeah, it's and also too, it's like for me, it's like I have no like I don't have like I don't have a partner. I don't have like any kids. Like I don't have like really any like crazy like liabilities or anything like that. So I also like have like that part, and like I can understand like somebody who has like a whole ass family where it's like it's going to be a lot harder for them
Yeah.
to make that like sacrifice and try to make that leap of faith and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I there definitely is like some things like on my side, but also too that was even um on purpose of like I've had relationships before, and like and over the years like I purposely try to like, hey, I'm gonna, because I'm not where I want to be in life, and I know how much like I need to put myself like into like my career, and like I don't want to like cheat the process of being in a relationship in terms of like um every type of relationship like needs like time and like energy and stuff like into
Mhm.
it. And like if I feel like I can't do that, then I don't want to like waste like someone else's like time and stuff like that. So it's a shit ton of sacrifices, but I'm definitely happy that I was able to get over that fear aspect and just be like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah. You're kind of jumping without the parachute and figuring it out on the way down, you know. So,
Man, yeah.
yeah. And what you just said about relationships too, I myself I can definitely relate to that within the last year or so, because I had a
Mhm.
similar experience where it was like it wasn't necessarily that the relationship was in a bad spot. It was just like I felt
Mhm.
like I wasn't the best person I needed to be for that other person, and it was because I was focusing more on like myself and what I was doing, and I felt more
Right.
strongly about that. And it was like
Yep.
when you feel called to pursue that thing, and that's the thing that it just feels right. You gotta go.
Yep.
You gotta do it, even if it's hard. So
Yep.
yeah. But
Absolutely, man.
I definitely want to fast forward to now,
Mhm.
2026. You put out a project recently with Stale Brick, the Mahogany
Yes.
Tape, and I refreshed my ears this morning listening to it. I woke up this morning, I turned it
Mhm.
on, and I was like, this is a great way to start a Sunday morning right here.
Yes.
Very chill energy. His
Hell yeah.
production, Stale Brick's production, love it. I don't think I've heard a lot of his work before until now.
He,
But I guess I kind of just want to talk about the project a little bit. How did
yeah.
you and him start collaborating? Was this the first time collaborating? And how do you guys come up with the idea to do a project?
Man, it was. I mean, it was just a very like organic like thing. I mean, it was organic and also like intentional. Like we, um, there's an event called like the Beat Bazaar, like here in Columbus, Ohio. I want to say they've been doing it for about like 2.5 like years.
Hmm.
But in I want to say February of 2024, I was on the lineup, and also too, Still Brick was like on the lineup, and I definitely like seen his name before, but like I wasn't like hip to like to his work too much like at the time,
Yeah.
and I remember I think before my set, like he ended up doing like his beat set, and like I just remember like being at the bar and like literally just like stopping in my tracks because like literally everything he played was like crazy, but not just like crazy, but also too it was like, oh shit, like this is like shit, like my lane of
Hmm.
like stuff that I like. I know I would like sound like great over, and like stuff that I resonate with and stuff like that, um and we have like amazing like producers like in the city and of course like Ohio like in general. Um, but it's like one of those days when you like hear somebody who's like making like, man, this is exactly the type of like mood and shit that like I go for. And then I remember it's like talking like after like the show, and like we both were like, yo man, like your shit was dope. He said the same thing about mine. And then I was just like, man, stereotypical, but like also like very intentional, like, hey man, like at some point we definitely gotta like link.
Hmm.
And I want to say it was, damn, I think it was like July of 2024. I was originally trying to link with him for like another project I was like working on, and like I knew a few of the beats like I felt like I just like needed left. I knew he could kind of like deliver the mood I was like going
Yeah.
for, and I remember I was like, okay, he already had like just a bunch of beats like ready to play or whatever like that. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna like just like write down like whatever beats like I like, and then we can kind of come back to it or whatever. And then remember we started, and then like by like the eighth or ninth beat, I just like stopped writing down which beat I like because I love every single beat. And then like he literally played I think about like 30 beats that day, and then after that he started making like on the spot like the beat for Ethiopian Coffee. And like I told him I was like, man, like honestly, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if we like fuck around and like just did like either like a like EP or like a project together
Hmm.
or something. Because like, bro, like this is like the shit I love, and like I can definitely like see myself like on. And then he sent me like all the beats that he played, and then like I knew pretty much like the next day that I was like, man, I think I like actually really want to hit him up about this like project. But I like waited like a week. And then like I remember sending a text and it's like, hey man, I know I kind of like said that maybe like down the road, but like honestly, bro, if you're like down, we can get started on that like as soon as you're like ready. Cause like I pretty much already had like a good idea. I already started writing like Ethiopian Coffee. Um, I started, and then I started writing like 2 other songs. I think Chances with Joey H was like one of them, and then there was like another song. But like with those 3 songs, I had a very good idea of like sound wise where I wanted to go, and I already had like the title of like the Mahogany Tape. So when I approached him about that, like I had like kind of like those things ready. He was like down to do it. So then we spent for like the next like year and a half, like on like recording stuff like here and there and stuff like that. And like it's funny because like I remember at the time, but I really wanted the project to come out like originally like ideally I really wanted to like come out like last fall, like fall of like 2025. But between finishing up like a few songs and then also to like just getting everything like mixed and mastered, it kind of got delayed into like the early part of like this year. I think around like February we ended up like getting like the whole project like mixed and mastered. But I'm grateful that it happened the way it happened because like when we did release it, I think it was just kind of just like perfect timing with just having a lot of stuff ready. Already had like the videos ready. Was able to do like a release party. Collaborated with some homies to actually get like some cassette tapes made as well. It was just a beautiful day, like when we did like the release party and just like the love and like how many folks came out and how much like they enjoyed the music. So yeah, that was like, yeah, it's just one of those like organic connections with somebody who like, and we weren't even like I said, we actually, I mean, we just met through like music and then we like started to like work on the project. And I've never done that. It's my first like full project with one producer. But it was just kind of one of those things where when it's just like there, the chemistry's there, it's just there. And I didn't want to like run away from that and kind of just like go like head on. And it was an amazing like learning experience to be able to like work with somebody one-on-one with that, and just being patient and also too like I didn't want to just be like, hey, I'm just like rapping on it. I really also wanted to like, hey man, like I want you to get your shit off as well too. And like if there's like ideas for how you want to do production with the song, and like I don't want to, obviously I want to steer the ship, but also too like I don't want it just to be like a dictatorship, and like you just like send me beats. Like I want this to be collaborative and stuff like that. So I'm really I mean deeply appreciated him and just like how like the project like came about. And like it's definitely, I'll probably say like if I could like pick one album to send, it changes like every other like year or whatever like that. But if I could like send like one project to somebody who like never heard of it before, as of now, this would definitely be like start with the Mahogany Tape. I think it'll give you like a good indication of like my artistry and stuff like that, and then you can kind of like choose your own adventure of like what a bridge to like next. But I think it's I think it's an amazing like first project to be introduced to somebody. Like if you never heard anything from me before, I think that would be like the amazing like starting point for somebody. So
wanted to take a quick minute out of today's episode to let you guys know of a way that you can support the show, a way that you can donate some funds to us, starting at as little as $5 or more via our Ko-fi page. Now we've been using Ko-fi now for a few years, and it's been a very effective way to generate some funds that we end up using for, you know, future guests, sponsors, just an overall way to keep this show as quality as it has been for the last several years, and we always appreciate any and all contributions. So if you go to coffee.com/The Proven Knowledge Podcast, that's ko-fi.com/The Proven Knowledge Podcast, you can donate, like I said, $5 or more. You know, it gives you that option to do 10, 20, 30, or just type in whatever amount. Any contributions are appreciated. And, I do this show from the bottom of my heart for the love of it at the end of the day. But those funds are always welcome, because they do allow us to do more and be more flexible with how we continue to grow this platform in the future. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. The link will be in the description of the show notes of this episode you're listening to now, so definitely check it out. But without further ado, let's get back into the episode. It might be the same for him too, because like I said, I don't know his discography. Like, I don't know if he's been doing collab albums with other artists or if he has instrumental tapes out. But like, that's a good introduction for me for his sound, because I'm like, I got to go check out his stuff too now. So
yes, yeah. So he actually has another like full length like album with my dude Crops. Crops. He's on the song Sun's Flight on the Mahogany Tape. They've been working together for I want to say like 3 or 4 years, maybe like longer. I'm pretty sure I think they've already discussed and like roughly have like worked on like a follow up. And then like I know at some point he'll be coming out with like a solo instrumental like album and stuff like that. I'm not for sure if it's gonna be, if he's aiming for like this year or like maybe like early next year, but I'm just like excited for him. Just as I'm always like a fan first of folks, even just like with peers and stuff, and like man, like he plays me shit, and like also just to be able to like watch him like create like in real time. He's also been like playing like the keys and stuff like that since like the age of like 4 or something. Like his mom is like a professional like a pianist, and like does like teaches like piano and stuff like that. So like he learned like really young, and like it definitely shows. And like in sessions, like once he gets the drums going, like he'll get on the keys and just start just like playing. And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? So yeah, man, definitely check out like his stuff. Like if it, like you said before, but like if you like this, like and in both ways, like definitely go and check out his stuff as well too. He's amazing.
Because that sounds right up my alley. I love the melodic stuff. I love like combining melodic stuff with like the hip hop, like boom bap sound. That's my favorite stuff, man.
Absolutely, man. Same.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. But I'm excited for you guys in this project, and congrats again on the release of it as well.
Thank you.
Ethiopian Coffee is personally my favorite right now, but it might change. I love all 7 songs. And I'm excited to see, what you guys do in the future too, because I'm sure there'll be more collabs coming soon as well.
Oh,
so
for sure.
Exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely, that was like the floodgates opening of me just like it's kind of like happened like here and there like over the years. Like I want to say, damn, I think it was maybe like 2019 that me, Joey H, my dude Sarab, and Trekman FS, and my dude Supernatural. We did like a collab like album together, and that was like an organic like situation. But definitely within the last like year or so, just like collaborate like a lot more. I'm actually like in the process. I've been actually working on this since like November, but like 2 of my like good friends, like producer KMB and then my friend Meg Paulson, got like a band now, and we released like our first single, I want to say 2 weeks ago now, and working on like trying to get shows together for us, and more music like releasing like soon. But like definitely this is like the year of me like pushing myself. As I was alluding to, like earlier when I was talking about like my 10-year anniversary, it's actually now going to be my 15-year anniversary this September. So I'm just like, all right, man. I feel like I gotta like constantly like push myself and do more stuff.
Yeah.
So like this year is definitely the second half of the year. I'm got like a lot more like on the way. So it definitely was a great start, and try to stay consistent throughout the year with like new music and
Yeah.
shows and all that shit.
Yeah. So well, you got 6 more months, man, to keep the innovation going and keep the word going.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to see it unfold for sure. And the last few questions here that we do, they're mostly life related questions, and they kind of
Hmm.
will echo what we've been talking about between looking back at the past and then looking ahead to what's
Yep.
next. So the first one is 10 years ago. If you could go back, give yourself any piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
Man, it's funny. I had somebody ask me this like recently. I can't remember like how many like years back, but it was like I think the same reaction response is like I wouldn't change anything. Like um the only reason I wouldn't change anything because I just have this belief it's like if I changed something, I think like it wouldn't have like led me to like where I am like now. Even with the rough patches and stuff like that. And like you know 10 years ago, it's like when I was like first like booking like my own shows and shit, and
Mhm.
like I had no experience or like no like I was like really learning that on the fly. But like I'm always like happy that I didn't like have like a mentor or somebody like kind of teaching me or like uh 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 a future self like telling me like how to like do things because like it really allowed me to experiment and like kind of like do things like almost like as a like an innocent like 20 something year old where like now I'm like a lot more precise and stuff like that, but it's just like I made like so many connections like back then and stuff like that, so I wouldn't change anything. I think more or less just like still um just like working hard and trying to just keep my passion. I think that's the biggest thing I've seen like even with people who've like come and go like on
Mhm.
the scene. It's just that like if you really don't like have the passion like heart for it and like it's it's tough to get through like the hard times because like that's kind of like really the only thing a lot of times will like get you through that. It's like the
Yeah.
passion. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. 100%. And then we usually flip that question and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you
Mm,
envision yourself musically and life overall?
man, that 10 years from now, I want to still constantly just be pushing myself like musically. I definitely see like what I'm doing with my friend Meg and KMB. Our group name is called the Notic. I really feel the shit that we're gonna be doing. I don't know. I got a good feeling that like it's gonna go maybe even like farther than like I can like even imagine. So I'm like really excited to see like these next 10 years and like our growth and like the things that we like do like together. Um and I see myself still in Columbus, but like I'm definitely I want to just like be able to travel more. I think that's like the only thing like in terms of like financially is that like I want to get myself like financially obviously like stable and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But like in a situation where I can like be able to freely like, hey, I want to like move to like this city or like go overseas for like a couple months, and be able to like kind of really interest myself like in a city, and then from that be able to like kind of create and like get like motivated. I think life experiences is definitely like kind of one of my biggest just like creative like juices like when I'm able to go out and like meet new people and just like try different things. It gives me shit to talk about.
Yeah.
So like I think traveling like seeing the world. I was able to go to Japan like earlier this year and like I want to constantly like, push that and also too like I mean I've been really wanting to do this for like the last like couple of years, but like hopefully by then, not hopefully, by then I definitely will be like touring like overseas
Hmm.
and shit like that. I really feel like the music that I make and like kind of the lanes that like I'm like kind of like diving into and stuff like that. Like, um, I would definitely have like some really great markets like here, like in the States, but for some reason, I I think like between like Europe and like between like Japan and like Korea and like Vietnam and like some other places, I really feel like I could like have a really crazy like overseas like market. Kind of similar to like if you see like the way like Alchemist like travels and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or like a Soul Submissive, like folks have been doing it like for years, or like even like the Roots. Folks have been doing like shit like for years, but like there's something about like the appreciation that like a lot of different countries like have for a lot of the stuff that we do that are more considered like underground or aren't like
Hmm.
the super like mainstream shit. They're like treated like gods over there, and,
Yeah.
it's wild and like how much they do like sell out shows and like artists who like I've been like a fan of and like they'll do like tours like they'll do like maybe a couple cities like here in the States, but then they'll able to do like a 15 to 20 like city tour like in Europe, and like the shit be like sold out and stuff like that. So like that's like something like I really see myself and like really something I'm like pushing for.
Hmm.
So a lot more music, hopefully, like pushing a lot of things like with my band and like really seeing the world, and being able to like tour like with this music.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all of it unfold. It's gonna be very exciting, and I'm tapped in now, man. I've been tapped
Thank you.
in for about a year now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is gonna be coming next. And we only got a couple minutes, but do you have any final words of wisdom for the listeners before we get out of here?
Yeah. I mean, I can yap about so much shit, but like at the end of the day, really just like I know it's not easy, but like really try to make time for things that you like really really love, and things that you like have like a passion for. Um, you know, it. I don't know. I'm just like one of those people where just like I can never just like see myself like putting my like entire life into like something that I just like don't love like doing. Um, so much of this like life is like unpredictable. I just want to be able to spend time like doing things that I love like and enjoy. And I think when you do that, it also allows you even like unintentionally like, to be able to like inspire and like and put that same like to like other people.
Hmm.
Like I don't care. I like it's not me like I don't tell people, oh no, you gotta like just do music and like do creative shit, but like just do something that you actually like love to do. Because I think like our parents' generation and generations before were very much like you just gotta work a job, stay afloat, and just do what makes like the most money. I think we're kind of like starting to be like the generation of like, nah, like actually chase what's in your heart and like get fulfillment like that way and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So like I'm just like pro like doing what you like love. So if you're able to do that, I think you'll have like and live like a much like happier life.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man. I think we need a lot more people with that type of mindset for sure. I think the world would be a lot better off than it is, but keep doing your thing, man. Dom, I gotta
thank you.
say thanks again for stopping by. And I know we'll be doing a part two eventually. So if you ever want to come back, just let
Oh,
me know. So,
I mean, that's easy. Yeah, just let me
yeah.
know when and like, I mean, it's a pleasure to finally get to like
Mm,
chop it up with you and like salute to you and like the platform that you've like built and like it's just cool to see once again just like passionate people like in like our state. We got so much like talent and like so many people like doing like cool shit, that it's great to have um folks just like in different platforms and just like doing like good music shit and like well just good shit in general, but
yeah.
like especially like on the music side of things um from your production work and then also to like with the podcast and stuff like that and trying to like bring um audiences to different like artists and stuff like that that you like rock with is like much appreciated from like artists like myself.
Yeah.
So thank you, bro.
Just want to say thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to hit that coffee link in the description of this episode if you'd like to donate any funds. And we'll see you back here with another new episode next week. As always, thank you for your support.